So as firms like Kalshi are being sued in state courts by state gaming commissioners, one of the defenses they're raising is federal preemption. So what exactly is that? There are certain areas of life that are fully regulated by the federal government, and there is no intention that to be state involvement at all. And these include things like military, immigration, the licensing of airwaves, things like that, aviation, and those have what's called federal preemption. And there are other things where the state coexists and has co-authority with the federal government to protect their interest in it. And that includes things like securities regulation. So although you have the SEC regulating securities on the federal level, all states have their state securities commissioners or regulators, and they each have different requirements for listing and selling securities in the states, and they call those blue sky laws. But commodities trading derivatives has traditionally been viewed as something that has been preempted because the way derivatives were traditionally traded on CFTC regulated exchanges, the statute contemplated full federal preemption and with the CFTC having exclusive jurisdiction. And there are cases where the SEC has approved trading of products where part of it looked like a security and part of it looked like a futures. There's a case in particular dealing with index participations where the long side looked like a securities and the short side looked like a futures, and they authorized trading of it on a securities exchange. And the courts said that no, the CFTC has exclusive jurisdiction. So even if you have jurisdiction over securities, if any part of the contract is a futures contract, the CFTC has exclusive jurisdiction. And then we had the great financial crisis, and the trading of swaps was given to the SEC and CFTC, and they share jurisdiction over this. For the trading of certain swaps, the jurisdiction was given entirely to the CFTC. For the trading of a smaller amount of securities swaps, it was given to the SEC, and for where they overlapped, they were called mixed swaps, and the jurisdiction was given to both agencies. But notably, in these portions of the Dodd-Frank Act, they didn't use the words that they did in the section dealing with futures, where they said the CFTC had exclusive jurisdiction. It just mentioned that it was dividing up the jurisdiction between the SEC and CFTC. And that's where the issue is on the state level, because even though firms like Kalshi and Polymarket are offering these nominally as swaps and using their DCM license to do this, one of the methods of attack that the states are using is that they are saying that there isn't language in the statute that preempts the states from exercising their jurisdiction over things like gambling, and also that the states throughout the entire history of the U.S. have regulated gambling, and that there is no legitimate business purpose for engaging in these activities, and that's why it's regulated at the state level, and that it is inappropriate for you to use a federal license to do these gambling operations, because if it's legal to bet on the outcome of a football game or a horse race, why wouldn't it be legal to use this license to bet on the outcome of a roulette spin or a blackjack table or anything like that? So that's the preemption argument, and it's currently going on in the state courts. And a lot of the news is inaccurately reporting that Kalshi won in two courts and lost in another. These cases still have to go to trial, and what they won is a procedural battle for the preliminary injunction. So while this is playing out, if the courts had issued an injunction against Kalshi, they wouldn't be able to trade these contracts until the case was decided in their favor, but the case still hasn't been decided. It still needs to be litigated. And in two states, Kalshi won the preliminary injunction battle, so the case still has to play out, but they are allowed to still keep operating and trading these contracts. And in the third state, which is Maryland, they lost, but Maryland agreed not to enforce that injunction. And they didn't specify why, but there could be things going on behind the scenes where they reach some type of agreement. For instance, many states collect taxes on gambling. It could be that they made some type of deal where Kalshi would collect the tax or the portion that would be taxed, and if they lose the case, give it to the state. Or they could have agreed that they'll take steps to register while the case plays out. We don't know. Nothing's been publicly released, but that's a question I've gotten. Well, if the Maryland authorities won the decision, why did they not enforce it? So it could be that there is something going on behind the scenes that's not publicly released that is the reason that they agreed to it. So anyway, if you have questions about this or other videos you'd like to see, just drop them in the comments below, and like and subscribe so that you'll see future videos like this, and it helps get this video in front of others. And if you'd like to work with me either as a consultant or a lawyer, you get in touch with me through the contact information in my bio. And because I'm a lawyer, I'll give you the disclaimer. I'm a lawyer, but I'm not your lawyer. And nothing I've said here creates an attorney-client relationship between you and I. I don't have a duty to update what's here. And if you have a specific legal question or financial question, you should talk it over with your own legal counsel or financial counsel. So once again, I'm a lawyer, but I'm not your lawyer. Anyway, have a great day, everyone.